Let's start with the dangerous and slowly work our way towards the deadliest ones on the list. Number 6. The Death Pit. The Veryovkina Cave, also known as the Death Pit, is located in Georgia and is the deepest known cave on the planet, extending 2,209 meters. For reference, it could fit around 24 Statues of Liberty inside, or for my European audience, 7 Eiffel Towers, and for the rest of the world, 31,680 Big Macs. There has only been one recorded fatality inside of the cave, but don't let that number fool you. This is one of the most dangerous caves on the planet. As you begin your journey, you will be presented with your first challenge: finding it. Since the entrance to the cave is a small 3x4 meter opening in the middle of nowhere. Once you found the entrance, there will be no warm-up, as you will begin by rappelling down a pitch black vertical drop. But this is just the beginning, as there will be many vertical drops that will continue to take you deeper and deeper into the complex cave system. And as you continue to work your way down, the temperatures will very quickly drop to near freezing, and humidity will skyrocket to 100%, making the limestone walls and floors extremely slippery, adding some much needed comedic relief. But as you work your way from camp 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally 5, you will have to rappel through freezing waterfalls, squeeze through multiple narrow, twisting tunnels that are barely the size of a human body, and walk through chest-deep freezing waters. But after 4 days of descending and pure agony, you finally make it to the bottom of the cave, where your guide will take a small sample of dirt, pat you on the back, and instruct you to turn back around, since they got what they came for. Number 5. The Deep Abyss. Krubera Cave is currently the second deepest cave on Earth, but its true size remains unknown, since no one has ever reached its end. The cave has claimed the lives of a few people throughout the years, with the most recent death taking place in 2020. Your journey will once again begin with a Where's Waldo type of game, since you're looking for a small entrance hiding in the vast mountain region of Georgia. Now, there are no official dimensions online about the size of the entrance, but if we take a look at this picture of Rui Chenet standing in it, and Google Chenet's height, which is 5'11", we can easily calculate that the entrance is about 1¼ Rui Chenets in length. Once you're strapped in, you will begin to rappel into the pitch black cave, connecting from line to line, descending for hours on end. One mistake here could cost you your life, sending you free falling past all of your buddies, and ruining the trip. While rappelling down, you will not only be stressed from the descent, but you'll also be in constant fear of overhead rocks falling on your head, since there are many loose rocks. There are 5 camps throughout the cave, all spread 8 hours apart, taking a total of 5 days down and 5 days up to complete. Along the way, you will encounter very tight squeezes that will take all the muscles in your body to get through, slippery limestone walls and floors, and you'll cross the bodies of explorers who once attempted exactly what you are doing now. All this before you even reach Camp 1. From Camp 1 to Camp 5 will be more of the same, descending in pure darkness, near freezing temperatures, and fighting off extreme exhaustion. But eventually, you will encounter one of the most dangerous parts of the cave, one of the many siphons. These are underwater tunnels that you must swim through on a single breath. A miscalculation here, or losing the guideline, will easily cost you your life. But after 5 days of descending, if you are one of the lucky few to ever go past Camp 5, you will be greeted with a section called the Two Captains Siphon, which is a complete waste of time, since it's completely OP and remains uncharted territory to this day. Number 4. The Cave of Death. The Cave of Death and the Drowning Trap are the nicknames given to the Gouffre Berger Cave in France, one of the deadliest and deepest caves on the planet. Now, at first glance, the cave looks absolutely beautiful, but after turning down the brightness and removing the beauty filter, yeah, just like I thought, it's a complete dump. The cave has a depth of over 1,200 meters, and in recent years has claimed the lives of 6 people. Now, thankfully this time around you will begin your journey well rested, waking up at a nearby hotel of your choice, since the cave is conveniently located near a city. Your journey begins with a traditional French breakfast, an order of French toast, French fries, and a croissant. Then, it's time to get to work. You will begin by rappelling down a vertical 30-meter descent into the dark cave. But again, this is just the beginning, as the cave will spam vertical descents back to back to back, taking all the fun out of it. But after descending for around 6 hours, you will reach the largest section of the cave, a very long and slowly descending labyrinth. A wrong turn here could easily be your last. Here, you will face some of the most difficult sections, from long wall climbs, crossing lakes, and rappelling down slippery waterfalls. An injury here, you guessed it, will force your friends to put you down. But if you're one of the lucky few who manages to descend around 30 hours, you will have reached the final section of the cave, a section called the Terminal Sumps, a DLC add-on that was discovered in the 1950s, requiring diving gear to access. To this day, this large underwater section hasn't been fully mapped out due to its strong currents, low visibility, and freezing cold temperatures. Number 3. Jacob's Well. Imagine maining the most universally hated and worst type of level, water levels. Jacob's Well is a popular swim hole located a few miles away from Austin, Texas. The cave has taken the lives of at least 9 divers in recent years, with some of their bodies remaining inside of the cave to this day. If for some strange reason you chose underwater cave exploring as a hobby, your journey will begin with a vertical descent into the cave. Soon you will realize that the cave is slowly narrowing, leading you to a section called the Restriction, which is a long and confined passage. In fact, it's so tight that divers must mount their air tanks at their sides, instead of the usual back position, just to squeeze through. Now, thankfully we have all done this one once before, so experience should play a factor. The following section is terrifying, since it looks the same in either direction, so if you lose focus or get disoriented, even for a second, you could lose track of which way you came from and where you were going, putting you in a deadly situation where you could believe that you're heading out of the cave, when in fact, you're going deeper into the system. But if you are lucky enough to stay focused and continue in the correct direction, you will eventually reach the next section, the Shallows, a narrow and confined area where you must be careful not to stir up the silt-covered floors, as doing so will instantly cause the water to become extremely murky, reducing visibility to 0, which is the exact thing that has happened to many divers inside the cave, causing them to lose the guideline, and eventually run out of air as they were attempting to find their way out. But for the divers that make it to the final and deepest known section called the Unknown, they will have to turn back around if they want to live, since this area has 0 visibility, is extremely narrow, and has a strong underwater current. To this day, no one has ever gone past this point, and Jacob's Well's true depth remains a complete mystery. Number 2. The Mount Everest of cave diving. The Mount Everest of cave diving is the nickname given to the Eagle's Nest Cave in Florida, the second deadliest cave on the planet. There have been at least 13 confirmed fatalities here in recent years, but from the outside looking in, it actually appears to be a decent swim hole, if it weren't, you know, Florida. Your deadly adventure begins with a vertical descent into the cave, but very quickly you'll encounter your first challenge, a section called the Chimney, a tight squeeze where you must be extremely careful not to snag the hoses to your air tanks, causing them to disconnect. Once you pass through, you'll enter the entrance room, a large open area that splits into 2 tunnel systems, but for the sake of the video, you will head towards the deepest and deadliest section of the cave. Here, you will be greeted with this infamous sign, warning you to stop and turn back around to prevent your own death. You continue, since this message is obviously for someone else. As you push deeper into the complex cave system with your underwater scooter, you'll soon come across the most dangerous section, one that has claimed many lives, a passage called the Pit. This tight and confined area requires divers to carefully squeeze and twist through without damaging their gear. It's not uncommon for divers to take multiple attempts to successfully pass through. Now would also be a good time to mention a deadly condition that's claimed the lives of dozens, if not hundreds of divers, nitrogen narcosis. It's caused by the increased absorption of nitrogen while under pressure and makes the divers feel intoxicated, similar to being drunk. So you're probably thinking, cave diving is actually beginning to not sound so bad. What's the issue? Well, when people are drunk, they tend to make bad decisions, like taking unnecessary risks, losing track of time, and becoming uncoordinated. Now, of course, that shouldn't be a problem for you, since you were never coordinated to begin with. But again, for the sake of the video, let's say you manage to squeeze and twist through this deadly section. You'll now move past maze-like narrow passages, carefully avoiding not to disturb the silt-covered floors, because doing so could easily become a death sentence, causing you to lose visibility and all hopes of finding your way back out. But if by some miracle you manage to descend over 300 feet to the deepest known section of the cave, known as the Room of Dreams, well, you can be proud of the fact that you are one of the very few people on Earth to have ever laid eyes on it. The cave continues beyond this point, but no one has explored further due to depth pressure, visibility issues, and technical challenges. Number 1. Ginnie Springs. Ginnie Springs in Florida has everything you could ever want. Warm weather, crystal clear and warm waters, food, campgrounds, parties, and unlimited booze. But underneath the floating beer pong tables lies one of the most intricate and deadly cave systems on the planet, which has claimed the lives of at least 28 divers. I mean, the names of the dive sites should tell you everything you need to know. The Devil's Cave System, the Devil's Ear, the Devil's Eye, Little Devil. You get it. They even added this terrifying mascot at the top of their official map, just in case you were beginning to feel confident. As you can see from the map, getting lost in this underwater maze would be a death sentence, as it has been for many divers throughout the years. Now, what makes this cave different from the rest of the caves on the list is that there are many entrance points. Think of the other caves on the list like a linear video game, progressing through the level from start to finish, while Ginnie Springs Cave System is more like an open world game, allowing you to start and go wherever you want at any given time. Now, I will admit, the cave is beautiful, which can't be said for most of the others on the list. But its beauty adds to its horror. Let me explain. The water in the cave is crystal clear, which lures divers into a false sense of security. And with that misguided confidence, divers tend to swim deeper into the system, diving far beyond their skill level, a very common and fatal mistake. But not only will you have to worry about getting lost in its labyrinth, you'll also have to memorize the map from the position you chose to start from, as well as memorizing the direction of the currents in the tunnels, since they can easily take you on a shortcut across the entire map, spawning you in a section where you are incredibly underpowered. But let's quickly cover the most common ways people have lost their lives in this cave. Many divers have gotten stuck in sections where they knew the way out, but didn't have the strength to swim against the current, causing them to eventually run out of air. A few divers have also gotten lost in the cave system, since they failed to set up a guideline, making it nearly impossible to retrace their steps. As well as many divers who simply became disoriented and got lost in the cave, only for their bodies to be discovered in the following days. There are countless divers who lost their lives due to mixing the wrong air mixture in their tanks, which led to oxygen toxicity, hypoxia, nitrogen narcosis, and carbon dioxide buildup. For anyone planning to visit the swim hole, my only word of advice would be to admire the cave from afar. That way, if you do black out, at least you'll still be alive to regret it.